This is Lucifera.
Hello, this is Entropy. Continuing in the introduction, this part of the introduction is called The Secret Book of John. Gnostic ideas are expressed in mythology and psychology simultaneously. The results in substantial confusion because components of mind certainly don't act like individual beings in a solar system, even though the mythological form of expression requires this. Confusion is compounded by the imaginative creativity of Gnostic authors who feel free to rewrite myth to include their own unique insights. And yet we need not despair. The overall story and theory of the Secret Book of John are reasonably comprehensible. Even if the details, names, and categories that arise in the work do not fit neatly together, that is usual for mythologies. In the case of the Secret Book of John, the variations that make this book difficult to follow are a testimony to its great influence. Each of the texts of the Secret Book of John that we now have incorporate bits from different versions of the book. As centuries of work by scribes and translators introduce comments, variants, explanatory summaries, and Christian dialogues into a book that originally lacked them. The present book will help you follow the story of God as the Secret Book of John presents it. As long as you're willing to let text go off on its various tangents and deviate from the main story without demanding a consistent and clear narrative, you will be able to understand the book and its main messages. There have been several translations in the Secret Book of John into English, and this version indebted to all of them. It is fundamentally based on the excellent interlinear translations of Michael Grodin. It's been influenced by and has benefited from the following translations: Soren Givenson in his book Apocryphon, Johannes, Copenhagen, Protestant Apod, Munkensgaard, 1963. Frederick Weiss in the Nag Hammadi Library in English, San Francisco, 78. Bentley Layton in his books The Gnostic Scriptures. Howard M. Beaton in his book The Apocryphon of John and Other Coptic Translations. And Marvin Mayers in his book The Gnostic Bible. Ancient books were written without separations between words. The letters just march on and on across a written page. Ancient scribes have nothing comparable to our system of punctuation marks, paragraphs, and so forth. In converting the Secret Book to John into English, I have rendered the text with English pronunciation and divided it into many separate sections using a broken line poetic style. I have sometimes distinguished what appear to be scribal comments about the text by putting them into square brackets. My own clarifications about the translations have been inserted in curved parentheses and different fonts throughout. The Secret Book of John was compiled from at least 5 different types of material: a Christian introduction, conclusion, and dialogue about the fate of the soul, a Middle Platonic discourse on the one, a long and complex Jewish Gnostic myth, a section of magical book attributed to Zoroaster, and a hymn about the descent of providence into the world. If you expect the text to be seamless, whole, that reads nicely from beginning to end, you will have a difficult time with it. Understanding it to be woven tapestry of diverse parts that is sometimes cohere well and at other times are discordant will make it easier to comprehend. Continuing into the introduction, the next section is called Gnosticism Today. In this new age, a new millennium, the ancient religion of the Gnostics is returning to life. Scholarship on Gnosticism by prominent academics such as Elaine Pagels appears on bestseller lists. During Christian holidays, television programs often discuss the ancient Gnostic text and claim to reveal their mysteries and secrets. Popular novels such as the Da Vinci Code are based in part on the discovery of the Nag Hammadi Gnostic Gospels. As time goes on, more and more people find pleasure in the strange and novel ideas of the Gnostic thinkers who lived 2 millennia ago. Gnosticism attracts so much present-day interest because, in a strange way, it is quite a modern form of religion. Gnosticism insists that we should seek diversity within ourselves and assures us that we are ultimately divine. Gnostic texts take a firm, positive view of human beings. Look at the, quote, fall into sin, unquote, as the failure to realize our divinity rather than a descent into moral incompetence. Although assuming the need for a basic moral life, Gnosticism is not a moralistic religion and has no place for a God of judgment sentencing people to an eternity of bliss or torment. Gnosticism is individualistic. We all need to discover our own divine self-awareness and not rely on church or priest for our spiritual growth. The experience of self-discovery and spiritual ascent are crucial to Gnosticism. This self-affirming individualistic religion fits well with the values of modern secular culture. Gnosticism was never good at being, quote, organized religion, which is one reason why Christian orthodoxy was able to use police power to destroy it. Instead of insisting upon a mandated list of approved scriptures, Gnosticism encouraged creativity, imagination, invention, and novelty. Irenaeus reported that, quote, every one of them generates something new day by day according to his ability. No one of them is deemed perfect who does not develop among them some mighty fictions, unquote. Today, in many circles, such imaginative inventiveness is admired rather than held in contempt. Gnostic creativity did not, however, just come up with utterly new systems of comprehending the world. It tended to work within a fundamental mythological structure. While individual authors changed details, names, divine personages, and myths even quite liberally, they did so in accordance with a set of ideas. The fundamental structure of the Gnostic myth is found in the basic form of the Secret Book of John, the most important, valued book that the Gnostic religion ever produced. And thus ends the introduction. So, that is a very good introduction to the Gnostic faith, best I've ever personally read. Most comprehensive and most easy to comprehend way of looking at the Gnostic faith. This is a matter of very individualistic perspectives, and it's not a moralistic religion. Therefore, nothing about Gnosticism is going to say you can do this or you can't do that. That is not up to us. We don't create dogmatic structure around Gnosticism. That is up to the individual. And we also have here a comprehensive understanding of what the individual is and the individual's place within the oneness of God.
As I said in the previous video yesterday, we are all one. We are all one, but we're many. We're in the oneness of the mind of God, the universal power, the consciousness, but we as individuals have our different experiences. We incarnate into different realms and live out these different experiences. I was actually thinking about something earlier. I was thinking that maybe we are living in a dream. So there's dreams within dreams, or multiverses. So we have these different experiences. We create our own reality, but in this one we are sort of locked into. So we're not able to shift into one reality into the next. So we're sort of stuck here until we close our eyes, or what we call death. But once we pass from this realm, where you can experience all the different realities again. So what we call dreams, I would say that they're other realities, other parallel worlds.
After now 7 videos of this discussion, I don't know that there's a lot I could add. I think we've said exactly the way the Gnostic tradition is trying to get across, that we are sort of all different energies within the same energy vortex of the universal mind. There's so many different metaphors I imagine you could come up with, and we will be finding those metaphors when we get into the actual text of the Secret Book of John, which will be, of course, in our next video.
I would have to add too that in regards to everything being within us, it's no wonder that all these great spiritual teachers say that the kingdom is within. It is within. All the external is an illusion. Everything that we experience or have spiritual, that is spiritual in nature, is all within. So basically, when this physical shell, quote, dies, this whole universe dies. But within us, that is the true reality. All these different realms you can experience.
As the Christ said, the kingdom of God is within you. The Buddha said that you have the Buddha nature within you. So all of the traditions that are coming down today still talk in different ways, saying that God is within you. It's all just a matter of semantics.
And another thing I want to add to is you obtain your own salvation. Salvation comes from within. It's not external, but it comes from within.
I want to make a little note here before we start our new videos, because the manner in which the actual text of the book, the Secret Book of John, is written in this after the introduction is going to be somewhat difficult for me to convey without you being able to read it. So I am looking forward to people giving their critiques as to whether or not they understand the author's synopsis, because there's lots of footnotes, and the footnotes explain from the author's perspective, Stephen Davies, what exactly is going on within the mythology of the Secret Book of John. So I do and would appreciate people giving their thoughtful ideas as to whether or not I am conveying the information in the book in a correct manner so that it can be understood. So, thus ends the introduction to the Secret Book of John. Quite a few videos. I think we've had 7 here. So, I hope that you've enjoyed this. The introduction alone was quite fascinating. So, now we get into the text in our next video. So, a little shorter than normal. This is Entropy 666 signing out.
And this is Lucifera.
Appreciate all of your thought-filled comments down here in the discussion board. Thank you very much. Until next time.